his picks for NBA awards. All right, Nick, let's do this. Take us through the list, your all NBA teams, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, so first team to me is, I think, very straightforward, Antoine. The only question is, are you going to call Anthony Davis a forward or a center? I put him at center. That gives you the best first team possible. Second team, Kawhi obviously has got to be there because when he did opt to play, he was excellent. Pascal Siakam carried a team that lost Kawhi to the 2 seed. Jokic was great after the first month of the season. Chris Paul, people thought the Thunder were going to tank this year. They've been the best clutch team in basketball, and Russ gets overlooked even though he's giving you 28, 8, and 7 again this year. Your guy, Jason Tatum, he makes a third team. Good for him. Chris Middleton giving you 50, 40, 90. Bam Adebayo, one of the most underrated players in the league. Dame averaging right around 30. And Ben Simmons, who's probably going to finish third in Defensive Player of the Year. That rounds out my first, second, third team with respect to Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, who got just left out. Antoine, obviously this is the perfect 15-man lineup, but I assume you might have some minor critiques.
When I saw this, I was a little disturbed, but obviously by you keeping Kawhi Leonard off the first team. Yeah, you kept Kawhi Leonard off the first team. Luka should not be on the first team. He should be on the second team. Kawhi should definitely be on the first team. You can't make an all-NBA team without Kawhi. Don't get into the load management. He is one of the top 3, 4 best players in this league. He should definitely be on there. Chris Paul is too high on the second team. Chris Paul should never be over Damian Lillard on the all-NBA team. Damian Lillard's having an unbelievable season. He should be on the second team. And on the third team, you missed out on one player you should have plugged in there. Chris Paul should not have made any all-NBA teams. Bradley Beal is missing. No, Bradley Beal is missing off your third team. Averaging 30 points a game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. They're in the playoff hunt. He's having an unbelievable season. He should be on your third team. But you almost hit a home run. You just missed a few.
Well, not Listen, Antoine, so many things. First of all, you're putting Bradley Beal ahead of Chris Paul. Bradley Beal's team has 24 wins. Why can't Trae Young get involved then? Trae Young's averaging 34 and 9. I mean, who cares they only have 20 wins? What does it matter? Like, if wins don't matter. Chris Paul has carried the Thunder to a top 5 record in the West. Like, they're a game out of what would have been having home court advantage. That's why he's ahead of Dame. Dame doesn't have enough help. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make this argument. Chris Paul is a part of a 3-guard offense that is played unbelievable. That's why it's not just Chris Paul. He's a part of a 3-guard offense, and they dominate late in games. They know how to handle. They're great in the pick and roll. They do a terrific job of getting great shots late in games. That's what the difference is. If it was just Chris Paul turning that organization around, he's been a big part. Don't get me wrong. His leadership has been incredible. But the other 2 guards, Shea Alexander and then Schroeder, have been terrific as well. That's been a great 3-guard offense. We haven't seen that in a while, where you see 3-point guards able to play together. And they've done it terrific this year to be in the 5th seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, couple things. One is, why are they great late in games? Why does that 3-guard lineup, Dennis Schroeder, who's never been a huge piece of winning since his Atlanta days when he was in a reserve role, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's in his 2nd year? Because Chris Paul's putting him in the right spots. Because Chris Paul, the ultimate floor general, is controlling everything late in these games.
That don't make you all NBA second team because you can control the game in the 4th quarter. That doesn't put him in that category. When you're talking top 15 players in the league this year, Chris Paul is not one of the top 15 players this year. He's been great.
Okay, well then you're
really take that away from him.
You're really going to hate my MVP
He's one
voting.
of the top 24. He's one of the top 24. He made the All-Star team,
Top
right?
24. Real quick, though. I just want to say one thing about Kawhi, because you said can't have a first-team All-NBA without Kawhi. Well, then we got to rewrite NBA history because he's been in the league damn near a decade. He's made it twice. 2 times he's been first-team. Oh, Kawhi Leonard always makes first-team All-NBA. Didn't make it last year. Didn't play the year before. And if you're going to put Kawhi on there, it's a forward spot. So I guess you're saying LeBron moves to guard, Luka moves down. down, Luka by every measure has been better than Kawhi. And even though Luka suffered an injury this year, he's played more games than Kawhi. But the Kawhi stuff, it's enough. But Jenna, go ahead. I know we have to talk about other things, but it's enough.
I want to bring Wilds in, and let's stick with CP3 since that seems to be the topic du jour of this segment. You had some issue with where Nick had him ranked in the MVP voting, in the MVP ranking, right, Wilds?
Well, no, I mean, I liked where he had him, and it also might be because I just like Chris Paul as a guy. He had him third, but then like Antoine said, he's on the second team. So I thought he should have been on the first team. Antoine wants him out in the, the parking lot somewhere on the 10th team. So, Nick, can you go through the rationale, which I think makes sense, on why you have Chris Paul 3, but he's on the second team?
Yeah, so I've got Chris Paul ahead of Luka and Harden in the MVP voting, but behind Luka and Harden on All-NBA. And it's because All-NBA is supposed to celebrate who has had the most outstanding season. MVP, it's outstanding plus contribution to winning. And we've got a historical precedent for this. Let's go back 60 years. This is maybe my favorite NBA season of all time. This is how MVP voting went. Elgin Baylor gave you 38 and 19, fourth place. Oscar Robertson, triple-double, third place. Wilt Chamberlain, 50, 25, and played 48 and a half minutes a game, second place. Bill Russell, a pedestrian 19 points a game, wins the MVP vote. You know why? Because he contributed the most to winning. More contemporary, let's go to 06. Now, I think the voters got this one wrong. I think LeBron should have won the MVP. But look at the numbers of the guy who did win MVP, and then look at LeBron and Kobe. It's because they said Steve Nash contributed the most to winning. A couple years later, go to 08. When Kobe won an MVP, another one that, if we're being honest, LeBron should have won. LeBron hasn't beat in everything, but Kobe won it because his team won 57 games and was far better than the Cavs team that was coming off the finals appearance and actually had a bit of a down year. So to me, there's a historical precedent for MVP voting does not necessarily mean most outstanding statistical campaign. It is who are the people that have contributed the most to winning. And to me, Wilds, I believe Chris Paul, nobody in the league contributed more to winning for his team other than Giannis and LeBron. I know evidently Antoine thinks he should be, maybe playing in the basketball tournament right now alongside Joe Johnson. But I think he's a very valid third place MVP finisher this season, Kevin.
So, Antoine, I'm going to kick two questions to you. One, overall, how much do you view team wins? How much should they factor into these awards? And two, do you think that MVP voting or All-NBA voting should be pushed back and include the playoffs?
No, I like the way you do it. It's a regular season. It's a regular season award. I think that I'm fine with that. Would have been a regular season award. Just to touch on this, Chris Paul should not be third in MVP voting. He should never be over James Harden in MVP voting. Don't get me wrong. I love Chris Paul. That's my boy. I love him to death.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a Nick move.
He's had a terrific season. But when we start talking about these awards, we're talking about the elite guys in the league that are carrying the torches. MVP. They've had a great year. I'm gonna say this again. That's a three-headed monster that's going on in OKC. That's not a Chris Paul just dominating and really controlling things.
SGA? They're two of the heads?
I guarantee if you ask Chris Paul, he would talk about the development of those two guys have been unbelievable. Yeah. And they share.
Because he's a great leader.
MVP.
And you know what great leaders get MVP votes.
I got to stop you because we could have this conversation all day. We got to get back to some NFL. What does the latest news mean or could mean for Cam's chances of starting week 1?